guys, it's Meg from Average Bards here. For this week's video, me and a couple of other bards wanted to kind of give you guys some ideas of self-care that you can do at home. Super simple, super easy, and some of the things that we wanted to work on was like meals for one, desserts for one, drinks for one, like a signature drink, facials or something special, you know, just to make it your own. And all of us have different ideas of what that looks to us, so we wanted to share those ideas with you guys and kind of give you guys some ideas for self-care that you can do at home. Now this video is going to be a little bit longer than a lot of other stuff, so if you are in a rush or just need a few quick ideas, then you can look at the table of contents below, and you can kind of jump around to see what fits best for you. But if you would like to hang out with us for the whole time, please feel free to do so because we'd love to have you. So with all that in mind, let's get started. Cheers.
So we're supposed to be making dinner next, and so I'm gonna make spaghetti because it's easy. I make it a lot and it's relatively cheap, so it shouldn't be too hard to make it. The catch is that we're gonna be using my Babka's special secret sauce recipe, and so I'd go to her and be like, Babka, what is that? Is that sugar I see in your sauce? To which she'd respond, jesteś głośno, which probably means, yeah, it's sugar. So
unlike the other bards, I'm quite bad at being a beautician. So, this week I shall forego taking a shower and instead show you how to prepare my signature cheeseburger. Your ingredients for this recipe are going to be 1 pound ground beef. I try to go for about 75-25 lean to fat ratio. I think that makes for a wonderful burger in the pan, shrinks up quite nicely. We're going to use mild cheddar, 1 white onion, we're going to be dicing this up, some potatoes for home fries, various seasonings. Season it to taste, of course, but I will be using great value black pepper, some garlic powder, Lawry's seasoned salt, a staple of any true southern home, and some Worcestershire W sauce. And we'll be plating, as the yuppies might say, on my favorite, some Wonder Bread. Toasted Wonder Bread, cannot beat it, and some fancy Kaiser rolls I picked up from Kroger.
what'd you put it?
Lettuce. There's lettuce on the burger. All right, so I'm not going to be using exact measurements, much to the bane of some people out there, I'd imagine, but this is seasoned to taste. So if you like your burgers over seasoned, I mean, with a lot of seasoning, you can certainly do that, but I'm just going to be adding a pinch of Gorlac, some Lawry's, and I'm not going to use salt in this preparation because Lawry's is in fact salt. Okay, there we go. And just a glug or 12 of Worcestershire sauce. Oh geez, I wasn't kidding. There we go. All right, so when you have your seasonings in there, go ahead and give them all a good mix. Get them nice and acquainted with one another. So I am pretty happy with this. I think I'm going to add some more. I think I'm going to add a little bit more seasoning. But other than that, this is a good foundation for a patty. All right. So the next step in getting your burger ready is getting your burgers ready. Now, this is not presently cookable unless you're a freak. So what I'm going to be doing is rolling this out to an acceptable thinness. Oh geez, is rolling. Oh. The next step in preparing your burgers is making sure the meat is at an even, flat level for the entire surface of the meat. That way, your burgers will be consistent. So, I'm gonna take this little slab that I've made, probably about, what is that? Probably a 1/2 inch thick all the way across. And slicing it evenly into 4 chunks. You can ball these up, keep them square, however you like to fry your burgers, and we will be frying them. Key to getting a good crust and a lot of that wonderful crunchy burger flavor. However, I shall be making wonderful little meatballs. And once you've got a ball about the size of your palm, splat it, and splat it. Alright, and we'll get all those made up and then we'll go to the pan. Alright, so to cook our burgers, we are going to put our cast iron. Now you don't have to use a cast iron, you can use steel, you can use copper, you can use whatever. Just so long as it heats evenly. I prefer to use cast iron, and I'm really trying to get it seasoned up. Now, normally, I would use beef tallow. I save the I save the tallow from my burgers whenever I cook them and keep them in a little jar. That is going to develop flavor over time, and eventually you're just going to have the nectar of the gods in a mason jar. However, I have olive oil to get us ripping today, and we're going to put our skillet, get her started there, at about medium low if you're really trying to be precise. Just give it a little glug and let that come to heat. Now we're going to move on to preparing our vegetables. Alright, so the next step before we lay our burgers on the heat, we're going to prepare some lovely onions and lettuce. And you're going to want to dice these really fine because these will have a very sharp flavor on the burger because they're white onions. You want to get a good mix of both crisp like white pieces and green leafy pieces. This is not iceberg. I don't know what, I think this is butter lettuce. Good, I like butter lettuce. So you're just gonna give this a nice chop. Now, if I had chopped this from the head like my sister did, I would have made it a little more susceptible to being long stringies instead of thick chunks, which I think it will come out to be when I've got everything chopped up. But can't pick your lettuce. Well, you can, but you can't pick lettuce that you didn't pick yourself because you didn't pick it. All right, and I think that is wunderbar in the lettuce department. Doesn't take very long to prepare at all. And now that the vegetables are done, I'll move on to preparing the home fries. All right, first step with the home fries is we're gonna par cook these in the microwave because I don't know if you've ever tried, but trying to fry or even bake potatoes from nothingness is kind of difficult because it takes a long time. I want these to be done quickly, so we're gonna chuck these in there for about a minute per potato. Now, if some of your pieces are too thick, you can take them after you've thirded them or sixthed them and have them again. There, I think that is an ideal home fry thickness. All right, once your potatoes are all diced up and ready to be seasoned, just separate them all out. You're gonna wanna get a very generous coating across them. Make sure they are white side up. I am a pick, so I shall be using the good old garlic powder and Lowry seasoned salt. Our pan is starting to smoke, the oil is singing, so what we're gonna do now is grab our noisemaker, I guess. Grab our cutting board full of prime beef patties and get the fellers on there. I believe for a burger, well to medium well is probably the best internal temperature / color / what have you. So we're going to be leaving these to cook for quite a while. Alright, so about every 3 minutes you're going to want to flip these. This spatula is really nice. Ooh, come here. Get a look at that texture and that sear. This is really what you're looking for. That's going to have a lot of nice flavor. every 3 minutes, you're going to want to flip these. And then leave for another 3 minutes to get that nice crust on the other side as well. While the burgers are finishing up, I'm going to make a quick burger sauce. Mix a little bit of ketchup, a little bit of any kind of mustard really. Most people use traditional yellow mustard. I'm going to use Dijon mustard. Wonderful. Probably 2/3 ketchup, 1/3 mustard. And then we're going to give it a little dash of smoked paprika. Probably dash this into the spoon. Just, this is a weird measurement, but just a thumbnail's worth, probably. A little bit of cayenne pepper. Probably another thumbnail's worth. So, as old Southern women might say, a dash or a pinch.
Can't call me out like that, Hunter.
We're going to give it a little glug of Worcestershire. Just a smidgen. That up. As an added little bit of kick or pep, you might want to add some relish to this. I think some nice sweet relish in a measured amount, maybe another 2 thumbnails, would go really well with this sauce. All right, now to get the oil ready for your home fries, you're going to turn that heat a little bit because it's ripping just a little too hard right now. You want to go down to firmly in your, go firmly into your low area.
Power to you.
Just add a little more oil because you want this, you want the home fries to be flavored with the beef, but there's a lot of crud in there now from the burgers. So you're going to have to add a little oil to make sure the home fries don't get cruddy and weird. Use a spatula less hazardous to your health when adding the home fries into the oil. Now the oil needs to be ripping hot, and make sure they are all at least on one starchy side. To prepare your burgers, first we're going to take some of that sauce that we made, make sure it's all well homogenized and mixed up properly. Take a little bit of it and smear it across your bottom bun. Okay. This one here, and this feller right there. All right, now that we have plated all of our burgers successfully, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some lettuce. And let me hold this so it's nice and even. We're gonna just put a little bit of lettuce on there. Now, you can put as much or as little lettuce as you want on here. I prefer my vegetables on burgers to be more of a garnish than a feature. So, I'm going to put a little bit of lettuce and a little bit of onion. Now, my burgers are kind of roundish. They popped up and were very meatballish in the pan. So, the onion and the lettuce is going to have a little bit of a hard time sitting on here. But, at the end of the day, it should look just about like that. And this is a finished Hunter burger.
So as far as meals go, I like to cook myself dinner most nights when I can. And coming from a large family whom I used to cook dinner for all the time, I've had to take my recipes and learn how to dim it down to be just one person. So the recipe I'm about to teach y'all is my own creation. This is something that I cook for myself all the time, as well as my family and friends, and I want to share that with y'all today. So before I even touch the meat, I like to go ahead and get my pasta going because pasta tends to take a lot longer to cook than you think it's going to. So let's go ahead and get our pasta going. We're just going to add some water to the pot like so. You know, boil water. You know how to boil water. So when I'm making pasta, I like to add a little bit of beef bouillon to my water because it helps it boil a little bit faster, as well as it gives a nice flavor to your pasta. So once that starts to boil, we're gonna add about 1/3 of a cup of pasta. You could add more or less depending on how much you want to eat. I don't eat huge proportions, so you might not want to just do 1/3. You might want to do more than that, which is totally fine. It's all up to you. And so once this water starts boiling, we're gonna get the pasta going, and then I'll show you how I do my meat. So now that we have our pasta going, we're going to go ahead and get our meat done. And we'll cook it on about like medium heat as we do this, okay? So once we've broken it up a little bit, let's go ahead and add the seasonings. So let's see, we're gonna do a little bit of onion powder, bit of garlic, bit of salt, pepper, a little bit of basil, a little bit of rosemary, a little bit of thyme, and some red wine vinegar. If you start to hear the water of your pasta start to boil over, just pick it up and move this lid over a little cockeye to let that steam out, but it's still covered. Alright, now that we've cooked our meat, this meat actually didn't produce a whole lot of fat and grease, so we don't have to drain it since it's very little. And it's okay to have a little bit because it gives a little bit more flavor. So this time around, we're not going to drain it. However, if you do see a lot of grease in yours, go ahead and drain that because it'll make your sauce be a lot better. So my brother apparently used all the tomato sauce and didn't tell anyone, so we gotta get a new one. And that's okay. Okay, so while our meat and sauce are kind of simmering together, we're gonna check our noodles. They seem to be coming along very nicely. Yeah, those are good to go. Okay, so now that our pasta's done, we're gonna go drain that bad boy really quick and then add the noodles to our sauce. Alright, so let's add our pasta to the mix. Great, love it. Love to see it. Alright, and then as we kind of mix our egg noodles and our meat together, I'm gonna let that come together, and then for the best part, our cheese. So I like to use a mix of mozzarella and mild cheddar. However, that's just my personal preference. You can use whatever kind of cheese you want, baby. You're just gonna mix it all around until the cheese is completely melted. Alright, I'll bring it up to y'all. You'll have something that looks a little bit like that. Oh, it's fantastic. So then we're just gonna take a bowl and add this best we can here. There we go, meal for one. Now you could add any kind of veggies that you like, any bread you'd like, anything you'd like at all to make this a complete meal. But for right now, this is all the parents have.
So next we're supposed to be making a drink, and I went with smoothies. So this one's for you, Ben and Hunter. They work at Smoothie King. So I'm winging this completely. I was gonna do strawberry banana smoothies, but the strawberries were out at my grocery store, so I'm gonna try raspberry and bananas. I pre-froze my fruit, and I'm putting milk and honey in it as well. And again, I don't have a recipe, I'm just trying this. Usually I put like juice in it, but I actually have not ever made a smoothie that I like. So I'm gonna try this time and try something new. Fun fact, I actually don't know where the lid for this is, so I'm gonna try this candle top. Oh, it's smoking. Oh Lord, that's... I think I need more liquid. So I'm gonna add a smidge more honey to it. Just make it a little bit sweeter. So I'm gonna give it a try with the milk. Okay, I'm gonna try that again. It's good. As far as measurements, because I realized I didn't say so before, I did like 1 whole banana. I did like half a cup of raspberries. I don't know how much milk I just poured it, like that much. And I don't know, like a little bit of honey. Cheers.
So for my drink, I was going to teach you guys how to make one of my berry smoothies, just for me to realize that my parents don't own a blender. So, never fear, instead I'm going to be teaching you guys about tea. How long you should be letting certain teas brew, and which ones help certain ailments, and hopefully this will help you. So let's get started. So I'm getting this information off of spruceeats.com, so if you want to double check and see what I said, feel free to check them out. So the only types of teas that you should let your water boil first is for black tea and your herbal teas. Everything else, you could probably get away with something like a Keurig to use, but otherwise you want to let that water boil first. For white tea and for green tea, you should only let that steep for about a minute or two, otherwise it gets really bitter past that. For oolong and black tea, you should only let that steep for about 2 to 3 minutes before that gets bitter as well. However, for herbal tea, you can let that steep for about 3 to 6 minutes, depending on how strong you want that to be, but past that, that'll also be pretty bitter. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I like to add a little bit of sugar to mine, but another thing that I also really like to do, which is something that I also discovered in Australia, is jasmine green tea with vanilla. Hear me out. Fantastic. And it has a super nice sweet flavor, and it all comes together, and is easily my favorite tea to study with. But that's just me. It might be good for you, it might not, but that's up to you to decide. Now, if you're fighting something like a cold or the flu or something along those lines, then some of the teas that might help you the most would be like green tea, peppermint tea, chamomile tea, which I know for me, chamomile actually puts me to sleep, which is also really nice. So maybe look out for that next time that you're feeling a little ill, and these teas might really help you. Hibiscus tea is also really good for you because it is packed with that vitamin C, which is really helpful when you're fighting illnesses. And if you're ever feeling a little nauseous or your stomach's upset or whatever's going on, ginger tea will become your best friend. Now, if you ever need help falling asleep, the tea that I like to use the most, if I don't have chamomile, is sleepy time tea. This stuff, especially if you drink like a large cup of it from the Keurig, it will put you to sleep eventually. I promise. But yeah, that is what I have to share with you guys about tea, and I hope this helped you.
As the only fitting pairing for a scrumptious American cheeseburger, we're going to be having a root beer float. Take our vanilla premium. I really sprung for this. It's the deluxe ice cream from Kroger. Get yourself, ooh, that's a good texture. I like that. Got some chilled glasses here. The only way to serve root beer. Pour nice and slow. That way, there's no risk of overfilling your beverage. And that is how you make a root beer float with burgers.
So for my dessert for one, I thought it'd be really fun to learn how to make a lava cake for one. This is like kind of special to me because I used to study in Australia, and one of my favorite memories that I have over there was I was sitting in a cafe by myself. I ordered a chocolate lava cake with vanilla ice cream, and I had a nice little pot of tea with me, and I was just people watching as I was sitting alone in this cafe, and it's easily one of my favorite memories from being over there. And so I thought it'd be really neat to learn how to make one myself. And so I found this recipe here. It's a lava cake for one from PBS Food. And I found a lot of recipes for 2 people, so you can easily make this for multiple people. But this particular recipe was just for 1 person. So let's learn this together. First things first is preheat the oven to 400. I did that. Next thing is I need to make a double broiler. Okay, so let's come learn how to make a double broiler. Come on, guys. So to do a double broiler while trying to melt chocolate and such, all you need to do is do about 1 inch or so of water, put that in a pot, and then bring that up to a boil. And while that's boiling, I'm going to measure out our chocolate chips for this. I'm using semi-sweets, but I imagine you could use any chocolate that you wanted to, whatever your preferences are. So I'm going to do a 1/4 cup of this, because that's what it asks for. And again, this is just for 1 person, so you probably don't want it super overpowering with chocolate, and plus you don't want it to be too moist. So I would stick to the proportions for this if you could. We're also gonna add 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're gonna melt those 2 together while we do this. So it says we need to whisk this together, so I'm gonna get this out and whisk it together once this water starts boiling. And so we're gonna wait for this water to boil while I start to do this. All right, so this is finally starting to boil, so we're gonna go ahead and do this. So we're gonna whisk this all together until it all melts. And so when I do double boilers, I like to kind of tilt my pan and bring it all into one corner, especially if the pan's bigger and I don't have a whole lot to do. I like to bring it all to one corner and kind of whisk it together so it's not just all over the place, and it's a little bit more easily controlled that way. This smells very nice, guys. Just letting you know. Now that we have that all melted, oh sweet hell, okay. So now that's all melted, we're gonna turn off this heat and kind of let it start getting cooler on its own. But while that happens, we're gonna add a half teaspoon of vanilla as well as 2 teaspoons of sugar. So we're gonna do this. So it says to whisk this till smooth, and this is looking pretty smooth to me actually. This one's pretty quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it off the heat and kind of let it cool down to room temperature for the next 5 minutes. Well, I don't know if that's going to take us to room temperature, but it says cool for the next 5 minutes, and occasionally stir it as that time passes. So let's move back over to our workstation and finish the rest. Okay, so we're letting this cool, periodically stirring it just to keep it going. Now in the recipe it says you can use either a steel bowl or a glass bowl to do a double boiler. However, the only steel bowls that I have the rubber on the bottom. Don't use those because you will burn the rubber. I learned the hard way. So it's best to just go ahead and use a pan. That's completely fine. We're about to transfer it over to the bowl for use and we'll be golden. So next thing we're gonna have to do is take an egg, beat it and let it get to room temperature. And then whenever we move the chocolate over to this bowl, we're gonna slowly incorporate this into the chocolate as we're whisking. And you wanna make sure that you do it slowly because if you do it too quickly, you could cook the egg and that's kind of gross. So I wouldn't do that. All right, so I'm gonna get out a spatula to kind of transfer this chocolate over to the bowl so it's a little bit easier for us to work with. Yeah, that'll work. We're gonna want this whisk, so I'm just gonna put that in there like so. So you want to consistently whisk this while you do it so it keeps it moving. Should look like this. Yeah, so there you go. That's how it should look so far. All right, and so now we're going to add in our flour. So let's see here. We're gonna stir in our flour, so we don't need this anymore. So we're gonna throw that in there. Oh, sweet hell. That's fine. We're gonna need a tablespoon of our flour. Mixing spoon. So this is a pretty loose batter. It doesn't look like traditional cake batter, which is fine because we're not making traditional cake, we're making lava cake. So just to let you know, don't feel tempted to add extra flour and things like that to make it look more like a cake batter because it's not what it's supposed to look like. So you're doing good. So for mine, I have these ramekins that I got from Walmart for $2 each. Super affordable, it's great. But if you don't have any of these, you can also use a mug if you need to. All right, so we're gonna oil them so they actually come out later. So we're gonna do this little number. That got all over my hand, but that's okay. And we're gonna pour in our batter. I'm gonna get this out of y'all's way so y'all can actually see what I'm doing. So we're gonna pour this in, right? Yes. Yes. Okay, so mine's about halfway full, but that's just because mine's a little bit bigger. But if you have a mug or something smaller than this, it should be about 3/4 of the way. So now we're gonna let this bake for about 10 minutes and then we'll plate it and enjoy. So let's do that. Okay, so I left mine in for about 11 minutes even though it said 10, but that's just because my oven's a little bit different and yours might be too. So while it says 10 minutes, give or take a minute or two depending on how hot your oven gets. So I'm letting it cool on the counter for about a minute or so like it says, and then what we're going to do is try to do something neat and try to flip this onto our plate and hope it works. So we're gonna top it off with powdered sugar when that time comes. So I'm gonna get this out already. I'm gonna put it behind me like so, as well as this bad boy to sit on top. Put that there too. Okay, so it has been sitting here for about a minute or so. I can't touch that. Maybe a towel will let me. Okay, so to pull, it says to pull it off the sides a little bit with your finger, which that's fair, that helps. Oh, that's nice. So it says to flip it onto the plate like so. So we're gonna see if I'm cool enough to do this. Okay, so I'm gonna take it off the pan first. That might be really helpful. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Here's what we're gonna do. Y'all gonna see me struggle so y'all don't have to. So we're gonna kind of scoot this off to my hand here that's wrapped in a towel so I don't burn myself. And then flip it over. There we go. Ugh. So I don't know if that worked or not. I can't get it up. Oh yes. Ow, but yes. That's nice. It's like a cute little cake. So this is how we're looking so far. She's a little short, but again, I had a bigger ramekin. So if you have a smaller one, it's gonna be a little bit taller. So we're gonna get a little bit of powdered sugar and top it off. We're gonna take our vanilla ice cream here. I'm gonna get things out of my way. Yeah. I'm gonna do this. I can get it open. There we are. Ah, yes. This is not very pretty. But you know what? That looks okay. Oh, that's nice. Oh my goodness. 10 out of 10 would recommend so far. So I don't want to overload mine with a bunch of chocolate, so I'm not going to add a little bit of a chocolate drizzle like you might. But you could top it off however you want. This is for my own personal desires. And so I'm just going to stick with the cake and the ice cream. Y'all are doing fantastic, so keep it up.
Hi, you're probably wondering what I'm doing. The answer is peanut butter cookies. I'm making 3-ingredient peanut butter cookies. For these easy cookies, you'll need a cup of peanut butter, which is surprisingly a lot. Like, that was a large chunk of my 16-ounce peanut butter. You'll need sugar, and you'll need an egg. Ew, this is a mistake. Oh my gosh, this is a mistake. So I'd be putting it on a cookie sheet normally, but I don't have that. I don't really know what this is called, but a baker's pan? I don't know. I don't bake ever, obviously. I do know with baking though, you want to spray it. Or you know, most people use, or you know, some people use like parchment paper, but again, this doesn't seem like a parchment paper type of thing. I don't. It's avocado oil. Is this really how I've made cookies? Like, I swear I have a, oh well. One of the things you need that I do, I don't even know if it's in the recipe. I don't know, I don't think it's actually part of the recipe, but one thing my family and I always do, and I'm sure it's a common thing, is roll them in sugar. I don't really know the reasoning. It could be it makes it sweeter, it could be it makes it stick into a ball. I don't know. There's always a reason. There's a reason why I've only ever played like character roles. It's because I'm over exaggerated in everything I do. Wait, I should be showing what I'm doing. So you roll it in a ball and you do it in the sugar, and then you actually will get a fork. So you're gonna pop those bad boys in the oven at 350. What? You're gonna. So you're gonna pop those bad boys in the oven at 350 degrees for 12 minutes.
8 total cookies?
I'm making more.
Okay.
So the peanut butter cookies are okay. They taste like 3-ingredient peanut butter cookies, but I think that's okay because usually I feel like most people will have like an egg, sugar, and peanut butter in their pantry, and if you're craving something sweet, then it works. So next we're supposed to be making like a mask of sorts. So I'm going to be making a scrub that you can use in your face. It calls for sugar, brown sugar, but well, 'tis a brick. So I'm using regular sugar, like granulated sugar. It calls for honey and olive oil, which are all like What drew me to it is that it's everything I already have at my house, so I don't have to go buy anything, which is great for me, because I don't like buying stuff. So here we go. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna mix them together, and I'm gonna mix it all in the sugar bowl just because. That's what the kids do on TikTok. At least I think it is. I don't use my TikTok. It tastes good at least-ish. Really sweet. Wait, I gotta do it like the commercials. You ready? So that was it. I think my face feels smoother. So I applied some moisturizer and it feels better. I had some chapstick, but my skin looks like a little irritated. So I mean, it works, but of course something like that's gonna irritate your skin. But anyway.
So when I make my facials at home, I really like to use the honey cinnamon facial from Lauren Cakes because first of all, it's super simple. There's just 3 ingredients, as well as it always leaves my skin feeling fantastic. So let's just go ahead and get into it. All you're gonna need to do is start off with a tablespoon of honey. So let's see if I can get this. Yeah. Tablespoon of honey. Ooh, it smells nice too. And then we're gonna want a teaspoon of baking soda. This so I can actually make it fit in the thing. So I'm using a half teaspoon just so it'll fit. So that's why I'm gonna do 2 of these. Okay. And then all we need left is half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm gonna take the cap off so I can actually get to it and not make a mess. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna mix it up, and all it's gonna do is make a nice paste. So it looks like that. It's supposed to look like that. Whenever you use this, all you do is you spread it evenly across your face, let it sit there for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then you rinse it off and your skin's gonna feel much nicer, I promise.
So the next thing we were supposed to do is to pick something that was soothing or calming for us, or something we enjoyed. And I went with dotting. It's something that I just started when we went to the condo and during the Christmas vlog, and there was a whiteboard and I just used a black expo marker and I was just dotting on it, and I was like, this is kind of calming. And so I got home and I did it on canvas with Sharpies in different colors, and obviously there's not a very intense pattern going on with mine. I mean, yeah, I guess it's in like a rainbow pattern, but I've seen people do like really cool stuff with dotting that you should totally look up. But I don't know, for me it's just, I just put on music or have the TV on in the background and just do this, and it grounds me and it is nice.
So while I did this portion of the video, I thought it'd be nice to have a nice cup of coffee while I did this. And it's a cinnamon roll latte, and it's one of the specialty coffees that we did for Bougie Barista. And if you'd like to learn how to make this coffee at home as well as many others, then feel free to click on last week's video to learn how. So let's get started on the whole bath bomb thing. Let's see if my iPad will ever unlock. That'd be really neat. So for my something special, I wanted to learn how to make a bath bomb, because I really love baths and that kind of serenity that you get while taking a bath. And so I wanted to learn how to make one for myself. So this is a website, Homemade for Ellie, that I found. It's gonna teach me how to make a bath bomb that's kind of like Lush. So let's see how this goes. All right, let's see if I can figure out, I think I have all these things. Let's find out if I have these things. So I didn't have things like essential oils or mica powder, I don't know how you pronounce that. So I don't have those things. But for as far as the essential oils go, I do have rose scented Epsom salts. So this might be a little bit of a pitiful scented one, but it'll smell nice overall, I think. And then I don't have colored powder, so it's just gonna be white. But you know, it's fine, it's like a pearl. So we're gonna tell ourselves it's like a pearl. So let's learn this. Let's learn this together. A bowl would be nice. Let's find a bowl. So for this recipe, it looks like we're gonna start off with our Epsom salts in powder, but again, we don't have powder, so we're just gonna start with a 1/4 cup of Epsom salt. So let's get that out here. Let's get a 1/4 cup of Epsom salt here. Yeah, ooh, that smells nice. It smells really nice. And it says to reserve a teaspoon of the Epsom salt. I don't know why, but we're going to do that because it said to. Yeah, okay, so that's gonna sit right there, and I'm gonna not knock it off the table. Okay, so let's see. We need to mix together the baking soda, Epsom salt, citric acid, and cornstarch. I forgot what I was reading. Okay, baking soda. We need a 1/2 cup of baking soda. Oh, I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, I'm like using all your baking soda, but it's fine. I'll buy you more. I'm gonna do this like so. That's not gonna come out. Come on, friend. There we go. That's good enough. All right. 1/2 cup of baking soda, and then we need a 1/4 cup of the citric acid. So let's get that out. Oh, there's a bath bomb recipe on the back of the citric acid, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do this one. To be a little bit better about ourselves, we're gonna use a spoon to help us out. So I believe citric acid is what makes the bath bomb get all foamy. So I think theoretically if you wanted to skip this step you could, but it just wouldn't frizz out like other bath bombs would. Although I could be wrong because this is the first time I'm making a bath bomb, so maybe don't listen to me. That might be wise. And we need a 1/4 cup of the cornstarch. So let's mix our dry ingredients together. That's probably a good idea. We want to add in a tablespoon of melted coconut oil as well as our essential oils. We don't have essential oils, so we're just going to do that. That's a tablespoon, yeah. Alright, tablespoon. Ooh, it's crunchy, right? Crunchy. Crunchy's not the right word. Alright, that feels fun. So we're going to melt this in like 15-second increments just so I don't burn it. Can you burn it? I don't know if you can burn it. But we're not going to test that theory. Alright, so this took me about 3 15-second intervals each, so do with that as you will, and mix thoroughly. Okay, so we're going to add our oil and mix thoroughly. That's what we're going to do. Alright, and so it says also to slowly add in about a teaspoon of water while you mix. So we're going to do that. And of course my teaspoon's being used on that, so we're going to use this. Making a mess. Okay. That's fine. So I know you want to slowly do your water because this will start a chemical reaction with baking soda and the citric acid. So make sure you do this very slowly so you don't completely like ruin the chemical reactions for your actual bath bomb. It's going to be a little clumpy, it looks. It's a little clumpy, but that's okay, I think. I don't know. I'm talking like I've made this before. Okay, so that's our mixture. It should, I'm gonna come up to the camera really quick. It's like this weird, like kinetic sand mixture. So if it looks like that, then hopefully you're doing it correctly. As far as our mold goes, I'm gonna get this out of the way because I'm gonna ruin this. I'm gonna clean up our station while we go, because that's what you should do. But I'm not very good at that. That's what you should do. I'm using these little molds. I was technically given these to make hot chocolate bombs, but I'm doing this instead. It's okay. So it looks like we're gonna take one of these. Oh, so we're gonna like have a little decoration with this salt, and it's gonna make little like gemstones at the bottom. That's fun. That's clever. All right, I like it. It'd be more fun if I had color, but you work with what you got. So it looks like we're gonna take our mixture and just pack it in. So let's pack this in. Yeah, we're gonna do this. It looks like this is supposed to make multiple bombs. Oh, it literally says it's supposed to make 2 bombs. I can read. So we're gonna make 2 bath bombs actually today. So there's 1/2. And then I'm gonna get another teaspoon of salt for the other one because I used it all. I'm gonna do that one. Okay, so there's 1/2 of these. Oh goodness. So if I did this, it needs to be these two. Okay. Okay, so let's see if I can manage to do this without messing up royally. Probably not. Oh goodness. How? Okay. How do you do this? How do you... Just flip it over. Okay, we're gonna figure this out together. Ha! Oh no, made a slight mess, but that's okay. Wasn't super packed in there apparently. But you know what? That's okay. These might be a little ugly, but that's okay. Yeah, these are definitely gonna be ugly. I don't know what I'm saying. So they might not be super round because I don't think you're supposed to be able to do that, but that's okay. We're gonna go with it. You know, just don't worry about it. They're homemade. They're not supposed to be pretty. They're gonna dissolve anyways. You're supposed to let these dry for a total of 24 hours before you use them. So you know, they're just gonna sit right there until I use them tomorrow night. And that's our, hopefully, bath bombs. Hey guys, so it's been about 24 hours since we made those bath bombs. So let's see how they turned out. Okay, so I have mine in this little bag here. I had to bring it back to my apartment, so I was just really hoping it wouldn't break. But... Guys, we made a bath bomb. I'm so proud of y'all. We did great. Good job, guys.
Any words?
And there you have it. By the end of this process, you should have some lovely burgers, some excellent floats, and a severe case of heartburn. Thanks for watching.